So this video is about environmental issues to do with ICT. So one of the biggest problems environmentally for ICT is the use of natural resources. So electronic devices actually contain a lot of raw materials. For example, the plastic for the phone comes from crude oil. Devices contain precious metals like gold, silver, copper, and mercury. Many of these metals only occur naturally in tiny quantities, so the more devices that get used, these precious metals are becoming less and less common. Extracting these metals actually uses a lot of energy to do it as well, so therefore this is creating pollution and depleting natural resources. So one pretty obvious one is that devices use energy. And the billions and billions of devices in the world today, they're all consuming electricity. People don't realize it necessarily because of battery powered devices, but every time you recharge it, you're using electricity. So regarding energy use, all of these devices are using energy, and electricity is made using non-renewable resources like coal, oil and gas. Once these are gone, that's it, there is no more. Extracting these resources and producing electricity in power stations causes lots of pollution. Some of this includes greenhouse gases. All computers generate heat and therefore they require cooling, which obviously uses even more power. The powerful servers used by big businesses use loads of electricity and require special air-conditioned rooms to keep them cool. This is just electricity, electricity, and more and more and more constantly. So one thing to consider is the actual waste of power. So devices waste a lot of energy and often use a small proportion of their actual processing power. People leave their devices idle for convenience. So you leave your phone turned on for hours and hours and hours and don't actually use it. So you're just wasting energy. They're using energy without doing anything at all that's useful. So there are a few things that we can do to reduce energy waste. Something called a virtual server, which is software based rather than real machines. So this allows us to kind of take one server and split it into 6 or 7. So instead of having 7 different machines running, we could have just one with virtual servers running instead. So multiple virtual servers can run on one computer and it can still run at full capacity. Most modern devices can sleep and hibernate to reduce their power usage while idle. Try not to leave devices on standby because there's just no point. Another major environmental issue is e-waste. E-waste is a huge problem right now. The world actually creates 20 to 50 million tons of e-waste per year. Modern devices have a short life before they are thrown away due to either being upgraded or to breakage. So if you drop your phone or if you just fancy having the latest phone upgrade, then you're just kind of keeping this phone for the sake of it, and it's just getting thrown away when there's nothing wrong with it. So device manufacturers are a big part of this problem. They only provide 1-year warranties, so once the 1 year's up and something breaks, you just expect it to get a new device. They also use advertising and marketing to get people to upgrade even when they might not necessarily need to. It's also much cheaper to replace sometimes than to repair the phone because of the way they're manufactured. So there is actually a directive in place to try and combat these issues. The Waste Electric and Electronic Equipment Directive is basically to tackle the e-waste problem. There are rules for disposing of e-waste safely that you have to follow. Basically, it promotes reuse and recycling of devices. So a lot of e-waste is sent to African and Asian countries where regulations are less strict. So this links to some of the ethical issues that we were talking about previously. It's not illegal to do this, but it's obviously unethical to just send all of your waste to a different country. They often end up in landfills, which are hazardous due to toxic chemicals leaking into the ground. So these countries are really suffering from problems with their crops and food supply. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you find it helpful and useful for your studies. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.